Yesterday, Bitcoin saw a huge pump above the $63,000 again, and we're now also creating the CME gap here for Bitcoin. After the huge pump of yesterday, there are a lot of interesting information I will talk about you in this video, so you don't want to miss any of this. There's also a lot of interesting data coming into the markets, and especially for the Bitcoin and the Ethereum ETFs. I will also have a look at the two altcoins Bittensor TAO and TRON, but about that later in the video. So watch this video all the way to the end. Don't forget to slap up that like button, and let's dive right into the charts. After the pump of yesterday, Bitcoin came back below the $63,000, and this is very bullish of course. And Bitcoin opened the CME gap around the $63,000, and to be precise, it's around the $62,993. So this is looking very bullish for Bitcoin on the short term. And currently we're trading a little bit below the CME gap, but I expect not a lot of volatility during the weekend. So I expect that Bitcoin is going to trade around this level, around the $63,000. And eventually we will see a close shortly after the weekend. And then we can trade freely after the CME gap is getting closed. So let's see if Bitcoin is going to trade around this level and don't create a lot of volatility during the weekend. And in my video of yesterday, I was talking about this huge downward sloping resistance trend line for Bitcoin. And yesterday we saw a big pump to the top side and we broke this level to the top side, and this is looking very beautiful. We can also see this huge horizontal resistance line was coming into play, but Bitcoin didn't bother and just pumped straight away through this huge resistance area. And we can probably see a retest of this area to turn it into support, and from there we can maybe aim for high targets, and that would create a lot of bullish continuation of the price of Bitcoin. And then we can also create a higher low on the 1 hour chart, and the breakout target of this formation will be confluent with the top side of this resistance area, and it will be around the $64,000. So we could potentially also see this getting hit in the coming week. So for now we are breaking through this huge resistance area on the 1 hour time frame, which is looking very bullish. And if we then zoom in on the 50-minute time frame, we can also see this huge price compression is unfolding for Bitcoin. We can see multiple touch points here on the top side as resistance, and also on the lower side we can see a lot of touch points as support, and this price is getting squeezed into this apex. So we could also see a breakout during this weekend because this apex is almost getting reached. And yeah, during the recording of this video we are almost close to this apex. So we could see a little bit of a break today. So it could either be a break to the top side of course, or a little bit of a break to the downside. And these are the patterns you could trade on this lower time frame. So this price compression pattern could be a very bullish pattern, because it could be a continuation pattern after a big pump, and then we could see some exponential moves to the top side. And yesterday I was talking about this bullish divergence for Bitcoin. We can see on the chart we saw a lower low unfolding, but on the RSI we saw a higher low unfolding, and this indicates that we saw a bullish divergence, and it played out like clockwork, because we can see the selling pressure was cooling off in the RSI, and that means that we're going to see more buying pressure coming into the market. And this is exactly what is playing out for Bitcoin. So this bullish divergence is looking very good. And now we can erase this bullish divergence because it already played out. So this is looking very bullish for Bitcoin. And yesterday we had a very bullish day for the Bitcoin ETFs. We saw a total inflow of $253.6 million, and especially Fidelity, Bitwise and the ARK Invest Bitcoin ETF are buying like crazy. BlackRock didn't even buy anything, so we saw a huge inflow of $253.6 million, and this is insane of course. So this week was very bullish after all, because we saw more inflows than outflows, and we are now in this total cumulative inflows of almost $19 billion. So this is insane of course. And if we then have a look at the Ethereum ETFs, we can see an outflow of $100,000, because we can see the Fidelity Ethereum ETFs was buying, but Grayscale was selling, and it was a little bit of a bearish day of course. But it's still a mixed feeling for Ethereum ETFs, and we can't see a lot of inflows or outflows yet. So let's see what the next week will bring us for the Ethereum ETFs. And on the daily time frame we can see this huge trend reversal for Bitcoin happening. We saw a downtrend happening with multiple lower highs and lower lows, but now we are in this uptrend on the daily time frame with multiple higher highs and higher lows. And earlier this week a lot of people were panicking because it looked like that we're breaking this huge support area and that this lower low was getting broken to the downside. But we saw a huge pump and we created a huge wick on this daily candle, and now we're seeing a bounce from this level. So this is looking very bullish, and now we can just continue the uptrend to the top side, because this lower low is getting formed, and now we want to see this higher high getting formed, and then we can just create a new uptrend to the downside, and this of course will be very bullish for Bitcoin on the daily time frame. So we need to gain this previous high, and from there we can aim for higher targets, and that will be of course very bullish. And if we then zoom in on the 12-hour time frame, we can see this W pattern is unfolding for Bitcoin. We can see a double bottom, which is very bullish because we're now seeing a spike to the top side. But we're also coming to this huge resistance area, and this will be the first big resistance for Bitcoin to break. So if we're going to see a break of this W pattern, we could potentially aim for a retest. And if we're going to see a retest after this confirmation of the breakout, then I'm very interested in going long on the Bitcoin. And from here I will enter the market, and then you can aim for higher targets. So first we have to wait if we're going to see a break of this level, but that could potentially be happening in the coming week. So we could also see, of course, a bear scenario, and that we're going to see a rejection from this level. So keep in mind that this huge resistance area around the $63,000 is a huge resistance area for Bitcoin on the 12-hour time frame. And yeah, this week the CPI data and the PPI data was coming in a little bit more bearish than expected, but the markets didn't care. And we can see inflation is coming down, and that was also having a result that we're seeing a big chance now of a 50 basis point rate cut in the coming FOMC meeting around 7 November. So this is of course very bullish for the markets, and it will pump a lot of liquidity into the markets, which will mean that the prices of assets will also continue to rise. So the next FOMC meeting will be in 26 days, and this event could also have a lot of volatility into the market and will pump up the price of assets even more. And looking at this chart with horizontal resistance and support areas, we can see a beautiful bounce from this $60,500 support level, which I was talking about a lot in my videos. We can see a beautiful bounce, and now the next big resistance will be around the $64,000 again. So let's see if Bitcoin can come back to this resistance area on the daily time frame. And this could all happen in the next week. And if we're going to break it to the top side, retest it as support again, we can come back to this next big resistance area, and that will be around the $66,000, which we already saw 2 weeks ago getting hit, but then we saw a big rejection. So we now created a higher low on this daily chart. So let's see if Bitcoin can see a bounce from this level, create more topside, and come back to this huge resistance area around the $66,000. And the first interesting altcoin I want to have a look at is Bittensor TAO. After buying at these lows, which I was discussing with you, at this green box of accumulation, I've been buying like crazy, and I called this on my social. So if you took this trade together with me, you're now in big profits, and from these lows you're already up for more than 190%. So that's insane. And of course I'm always telling you that I also take profits around these huge resistance areas, and that's of course exactly what I did. But I never sell everything at once, and I always sell in portions. So that way, if we go higher, that means that you're going to have more profits. And now we can see a beautiful bounce from this level, a retest of the resistance to turn it into support. And from here, I also called that I was buying more because we saw a resistance getting turned into support. And at the support level, I was buying. And from there, we can see another spike to the top side. We broke the resistance to the top side. We retested this again as support, and now we're seeing a spike to the top side again. So this is a very beautiful uptrend for TAO, and congratulations if you took this trade together for TAO with me. And as I was saying, the top side of this formation, of this falling wedge formation, will be confluent with the breakout target, and that will be around the $720. So we're still in for a big run, so we could potentially come back to this level, and from there I will expect that we're going to see a big rejection or either a break to the top side, and then we can create a new all-time high. And the next interesting altcoin I want to have a look at is TRX, so TRON. And we can see TRON was in this huge consolidation formation earlier this year, and from there we saw a huge pump because of the meme coin hype at the TRON ecosystem. And then after the big pump, we saw a previous all-time high getting hit, and then we saw a bit of a consolidation to the downside, and we saw this support coming into play and this resistance trend line, and then we saw a break to the top side. So this is looking very bullish, of course. So let's see if we can come back to this previous all-time high and then create more topside from here. But the TRON ecosystem is growing and growing, and Justin Sun is doing a great job there. So I think we will see the previous all-time high getting tested, and then we could potentially see a retest of this formation, or we could break to the top side and create new all-time highs. And this of course will be very bullish for Tron. So let me know in the comments if you hold Tron in your portfolio. Please give a like if you find the video useful. Don't forget to follow me on my other socials, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.